my name's Susannah Torreano, and I'm here at the Ann Jesperson Gallery, and I'm speaking with Lily about my work. So we're just going to do some questions.
So tell me first how you got started painting.
I started painting later on in life, but it was just always, making art was always something that I was just compelled to do. I started drawing, and then I went into colored pencil and learned a little bit about that, and just moved into watercolor. So I learned a lot about watercolor, and a lot of my work has really thin layers, I would say, that were kind of like watercolor, because that's kind of my first love. And then as I went on and I went to school and different workshops and things like that, I learned different techniques and felt confident enough to move into oil paints. And now it's one of my favorites.
What's your goal when you paint?
My goal is always to create so illustration is my thing. I really love illustrating a story or a scene or a memory. And so with my work, I really just want to invite people to come in there with me and to hope that they would see some element or feel something about it that was familiar to them. It's more nostalgic than anything. My whole goal is to create this feeling of nostalgia of some place that maybe you've been before, but not really. A new place to go.
So we were talking before about the difference between the small paintings that you had to do for this show and the larger paintings. Mm-hmm. How do you think that made a difference in your process?
I was thinking about that, and like we were talking about before, with these big ones, it almost feels like you can take my hand and let's just go and explore this area and find all the characters in there. When I paint, oftentimes I'm finding it's more of a subject to me than an object. For example, this log here is sort of like a big whale, like a river whale, and I'm always finding little creatures and things that weren't originally going to be that way, like you find a face in the rocks or something in the clouds. There are always these little characters that come out to me. And so when you're painting big, you can climb in there and see them. And when you're painting small, it sort of feels like you've walked up to a gate and there's like a hole in the gate, and you can look through that hole and you can see all of this stuff beyond that, but it's not as immersive.
Yeah, and I think in the small ones, there's a sense of maybe looking from a distance. I think these have a sense of like you're looking way down the river.
Yeah. I guess this one might be the closest that you'd be, maybe standing on this bank here, but even then, like, it sort of feels like it would be in Barbie's house. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Barbie would go in there. But
like for her, it's big enough to step into it. But there's something really powerful about this. A person can stand in front of this and almost like go
you
into
could
Narnia.
Dip your foot in there if you wanted to.
Right.
And that about it being such a personal experience for me, I really hope, and it's my intent, that those who look at it and look for those things also feel that.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think giving this painting to somebody would be different than taking them to the place that the picture is from?
That's a good question. I think it would be different because it is very genuine in subject matter and the things that were already there, but it is really, really designy and abstract in some ways with the shapes. I don't usually like super smooth, flowy things. There's always some kind of facet to it. And so there's a geometry to it that is delightful to me, which would be different than something you'd see realistically. The colors are pushed here and there. There's brighter yellows. The blues are a little bit bluer. This area up here was really fun for me because it was the most abstract of the whole thing, but I feel like though the abstract nature of those shapes and those lines creates something that is maybe existent on like a different plane, you know, like a different dimension that has a lot of the same things, but kind of like if you have a dream and you're somewhere in your dream, it's never really the way you would think you would see it. There's something otherly or different about it in that way.
Where do you think that comes from?
My crazy, wild imagination. I don't know what the like facet, the edges. I'm not sure. Like I thought about that. I wonder why everything looks like a crystal or like a, you know. I think it's the way the light bounces off those objects in such a strong way. Like it doesn't have this curve where it just sort of dissipates and goes into this other place. I really like those hard edges, and I think it feels more dramatic to me. I think even though I am a very, very introverted person, I think that in my art, I'm allowed to be more dramatic and more, I don't know, harder around the edges, where in life I'm pretty easygoing. I think that could play a part.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you see things that way more just in nature, even if you're not going to paint them now?
Yeah, I'm as a designer too. I think I see things and as a design always, like, you know, how like an artist would, or I guess anyone who saw something and felt that it was beautiful for one reason or another. I'm always looking for those geometric design elements in things.
Yeah, I think you really get that in here, but it's very natural. And even I really like how the leaves here kind of fall like pebbles or like gemstones or something. They have this abstracted shape that gives you the layering of them without needing to be focused on the detail of the leaf itself.
Yeah, I like that line, right? The lines are so really important in art. And to me, they're everything.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Many of the works in streaming are still available. Please visit us in person or at www.ajfinearts.net.